Hello there my friends, welcome to this brand new video where I am going to show you how I have built this. Is a web app built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript and Go. For the API we are using Go, and I have built this program in such a way that it can be just compiled into one executable thanks for the Go embedding. So if I'll show you how I run this, if I reload this, I have a home lab set up around away 20 feet. So it doesn't work right now. And this is MDNS, which I'm using, which is just homelab.local. If you visit that site, it will definitely not work. So good luck trying. And I have done the setup. If you want to use this, you can just follow the instruction on GitHub. It's cron-web, and it uses Linux Unix default cron tab to get the list and manage everything. So if you just want to do it in one go, you can copy and paste this in your Linux environment or operating system, and I have already done that. So I have cron web installed here. So all I need to do is hit enter and it starts the server. I can also pass an optional argument here to what do I say, to change the address. So by default the port is 8816, and if I pass something like 8989, it will also work. Okay, missing port in address. I can do this as well, like colon this. So it works in Go, or you could just put in the entire address like localhost and then hit enter. So I'll cancel this right now and I'll show you the cron tab dash E. These are my cron jobs here. You'll see, and I save it and exit it, no modification made, and I run my cron web command. It starts the server on 0.0.0 means it will accept from any IP address. So it's a different computer away from me. Think of it as a server. You can do the same thing on a Raspberry Pi, because I have released both version, whether be it ARM or x86 or ARM64. So just go to this page and copy the instruction. You can get the latest version from here. And if I go here and reload this page, you will see we are back with cron manager, and these are the things we saw earlier when I did cron tab dash E. We saw these things, and what we need to do now, we don't need to do anything. Okay, we just this is a simple interface I built using AlpineJS, and also I used PicoCSS. I'll discuss that in a bit, and I'll first show you how it works. Even if I modify something from my system, it will if I click on refresh, it's instant. That's why you don't see it. But if it was a server which was really away from me, it would show a bit. And if I click on edit, these things become an input, and I can type in time. Let's try to add a new cron, and here you'll see it adds a default value, and if I put something invalid, it will show invalid cron expression. So if I put 12, again it's an invalid cron expression. So we have week from 0 to 6. If I put 6, it means Saturday. If I put 0, it means Sunday. So you don't have to keep guessing, will it work, will it not work. You can just type in here something you want. 12 is the hour, I think, or minute. Let's see. And I can put star and one more star with space. So now this shows 11:12 p.m. So this is 23 is the hour, and this is the minute. So this is how it gets calculated. And if you press tab, everything is accessible. You select here, you press tab, you get in here. Now you can edit this, you can, and all you have to do is press update. That's it, cron has been updated. If I go and close this and I do cron tab dash L, you will see this has been added here. So internally I'll show you the Go code, what it is doing, but yeah, this is how it works. If I delete this, it has obviously not deleted and it has failed because the server was not running, and I have not added any error handling right now. So it's not gone yet, but if I run the server again, cron web, and if I reload this, what I can do is now delete now. Now it says deleted cron tab, and if I cancel this and now I do cron tab dash L, you can see it, right? It's gone. It was here, now it's gone. So this is it, how it works. Now I'll be taking you through the code and how everything got, what technologies I have used. So basically I was trying to look for something which did this for me, because apparently I'm playing music so that I can wake myself up at apparently 2 p.m. Yeah, and let's start with the initial idea. So basically this is I got the most of the code for Go from here. If I go in unicron.go, so I was looking for something, but this is like, this gave me the, lot of heavy lifting. It's not much in here. I'll show you in the editor if I go in Go. So thanks to Unicron, who is Mathis, yeah, thanks a lot, man. I am using his code for the most of it. Code is his to do this, uh, doing this cron tab. Basically what it does is it runs the cron tab command, so, and it uses a temporary file to put in, and so you will basically see we are executing this, and we are appending it in the cron tab file. That's all we are doing, and if we want to clear, we just delete that, and if we want to update, basically we are writing a file, and to what do I say, and this is our simple HTTP server. No third party library has been used in this Go program. Basically we have 3 methods. I am not using post, I'm just using put here, because I overwrite everything using this put. So if you will see here, shell write all cron jobs, so this clears the cron tab, and then it adds using this, and we are sending it in JSON, and we are also decoding the JSON here. If you look, decoder.decode. Okay, in the decoder we have this JSON.new decoder, and the basic things. We also set CORS related headers, so that we can have this, working. And this is it, basically. The file handler, we also have this for serving the static site. So I am using Vite for bundling and making everything in the front end part. So what it does is it creates let me close that. We saw the demo. So if I go in dist here, so you'll see these are the files which gets created after I run the command Vite build. Okay, and what happens is we embed this file server. So this is static content, and we are getting it from static. If I go here, all you have to do is use this command, and it will embed everything which is inside the folder into just one binary. So all these HTML files, I am not needing to download it externally. It just comes with the binary file itself, because we have used go embed. And at last what we do is the root path gets handled by the static file server. Okay, and we also have to make sure that usually by default what will happen is you will have to go to /dist, then it will work. But to do this we use fs.sub. I did not understand this much, but yeah, I found this on Stack Overflow. So basically it removes the prefix and we just get the root file without getting to do the /dist. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. Then first the slash is getting handled, then we handle the API with /cron tab. It's that simple. Yeah, that's it. This is all the code for Go. And I am also adding a custom args code here. So if you pass the arg, we check the length of the arg. If there are two args, means something other than the file name itself, we change the default address to whatever the user has passed in the CLI parameter. So this is the Go part, this is the backend part, and now let's dive into front end, because a lot of things are happening in front end. So for icons, I went with Iconify, and I liked some font awesome icons. If you go here, they have all the icons. Go back, click on browse icons, and you can search for any icon. So if I search for reload, I'll get all of these icons. I can select here. Either I can download it as a SVG, CSS, component, PNG. There are a lot of options, or you can even use JSX. Okay, and for components also you can use, but for me the best option is to just embed the SVG image. So what I did is I put in the image here. If you look in this public directly, I have delete icon, edit icon, refresh icon. Okay, all those are SVG, which I show over here. So these are images, SVG images. Okay, and we save a lot of bandwidth. Usually what people do is they put in the entire SVG here, so it pollutes the HTML and makes the website quite heavy. Okay, so we have followed the best practices in here, and coming back to styling this, I did not write a lot of CSS. So what I did is I simply wrote HTML. There is no React going on here. I'll show you the HTML code. It's just HTML. These are the icons which I generated using favicon generator, and I am basically fast defining this, and this is static. But what we have here is this table which is dynamic, and I am using AlpineJS. So I'll show you what it does. But first let's look at PicoCSS. So if you go in here, getting started, you can just add the style sheet, download Pico, and it will make your website look pretty cool. So if I click on example, and if I show you the preview here, you see all these components. I won't have to style the input. I'll not have to make sure that they get focused and they have a good contrast and all that. So I'll make a separate video on this, but yeah, just to give you an idea, this reduces a lot of time for me because it has a built-in CSS styling. They are not offering components, but yeah, a lot of styling is done for you. So if I hover here, it also says edit this CRON tab, basically the standard HTML, and I'm using this code attribute. If you look here, this is the template, and here I have a code. This is the code item.job. This is our cron job. So this looks styled in this way due to that. And now coming back to AlpineJS. So basically, if you don't want to use React and get away from HTML and have a lot of JavaScript, you can use Alpine. It's lightweight, and what it does is basically it lets you define using X data. So these are HTML custom attributes. So if you can do with anything with X dash. So I am what I'm doing here is I only show the input if item is editing. Okay, and the text is item.job, and here I am just doing the for loop X for items and index as well, because I need the index so that I can pass it back, because right now we don't have any ID in the cron jobs. And if I go in main.ts, I'll show you how I am fetching and all that. For that I am using Rech. Rech is basically a tiny fetch wrapper which allows me to do cool error handling, TypeScript, and yeah, all that. So it's good to have. I could have gone with just using fetch as well, but that would make a lot of code, make me write a lot of code. So if you see here, this is rich, and what it does is, what I'm doing here is I am defining the API call. So basically slash cron tab, and what I'm doing is doing the resolve, and I can type the response type, basically cron item. This is the cron item. So now if I get the rest, all I have to do to make a get request is now just say api.get. Okay, and if I show you this, it has this cron item typed, which we did here. So I don't need to go in every line and define, hey, this is the API response. So it works like this, and I have this simple function which is just fetching it, mapping it, and I am using this cron parse library, cron true, yeah. So what it does is it basically translates the this everyday thing which we are showing here at 2 p.m. every day and all that. I could have also enabled this verbose, which will also say every day. Okay, Monday through Friday and all that. So this also acts as a validation library. So while I'm after fetching the response, while I'm looping, I am just adding the validations explanation and editing and all that's false. And basically what I do here is, this is alpine.data. That's how, like, I have much control here, and I am storing these items basically, and I have declared these functions, and what I do is basically manipulate this. And Alpine has this cool thing where we can watch. So init is basically when the Alpine has initialized, we can start to watch. So they call these magics, uh, not really magics but magic, yeah. So yeah, if you come here, you have this watch, so you can watch things and do something. So x init, basically the same thing they are doing on the component level, HTML element level, which I am doing inside the TypeScript, gives me more control and flexibility and scalability as well. So yeah, basically this is it. This is how everything works. If you again, I'll be making a tutorial where I dive bit more into Alpine. So we have a state, like open, toggle, and all that we can do. So here you are seeing that I'm just modifying this. I'm trying to parse the explanation for a cron, and if there is any error, I make the item invalid. And also I give the message invalid cron expression, so that it helps the user understand what is going on. And save edit, basically if it's valid, we don't allow. So also, if you'll see here, if I put in something invalid, the button will get disabled. You see this button has been disabled, and even if you try to enable it, this will not save the cron. So simple validation. I am not adding any custom CSS. The only CSS I have added here is just these. That's it. uh, yeah, it might look amazing, but yeah, that's all the lines of CSS is there. That's it, 49 lines, and I have added a lot of new lines in between. But yeah, this is just for the refresh animation, which we never get to see. So yeah, and also this is done by, if I include aria invalid, if in input, this is the input we show. So x, if we are editing the item, we show this input. So and I can just bind this with the input, just like in React you'll have to write a lot of code to create a state, then sync the state, and on change and all that. All you have to do here is just do X model and then pass in the variable. It will automatically monitor, like it will be like a two-way sync. So whether you update this variable, this gets updated here. If we update the variable, if we update this input, the variable gets updated. So yeah, that's there. And also we are binding this aria invalid. So this will become true when I'm just inversing if it's not invalid. So if I go and show you here, aria invalid equals to true. If I make it valid, that part goes away. So you see it's gone, but we still have this comment. So what Alpine is doing is basically it's reading our entire HTML and doing all the things which it is supposed to do. So I hope you enjoyed this. I like to know if you would want me to do some more of these tutorials. And yeah, Go is cool. Give this a try. You can use this to manage lot of cron jobs if you have on the server. You can put this behind caddy or any reverse proxy, have like a HTTP based authentication, or do anything. If you have any feature request, you can just submit it on the GitHub issues tab. I'll link all the things in the description which I have talked about. So yeah, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.